Hello, Virgo, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of February 22nd through the 28th. And during that time, we have the waxing crescent moon we bring in from last week. And that's a time of heightened senses, a good time for us to buckle down and work on our own expectations and intentions that we've started during the new moon. We then have the first quarter moon, and that can come in 24th, 25th, depending on where you are. And first quarter feels a lot like a new moon. You might feel impulsive or impatient. It might be hard to buckle down and get anything done. You might be feeling a little bit just kind of just scatterbrained, so keep that in mind. That usually lasts for probably under 24 hours, that kind of energy. But then we move into the waxing gibbous, and that is like breathing out a little calmer. Good time for you to act on your intuition and your introspection. It's also time for us to demonstrate that we can be flexible and make adjustments to those things that we've just started during the new moon. So please keep all of those moon energies in mind. I know it's a lot, but keep that in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter, Virgo. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is the end of a tough cycle approaches. So, Leo just had that exact same card. So, you guys might be having some crossover energy there. Or if you have a Leo in your life, you may want to cross watch to see what they're going through right now, too. As I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder this week is that you watch the universe for synchronicities. And this could be things like an animal that you see that you don't normally see in your everyday life. I don't mean your pets, but of course it could be someone else's pet. And if I see an animal that's kind of out of place for something I normally see, I try to think about their attributes or look them up if I'm not sure what they are, and kind of apply that to a situation in my life. That's one way the universe might speak to you. It might also be through numbers, maybe repeating numbers or different patterns that you just see. Do you ever have a day where you get a receipt and there's a number on there, and then you see at the clock and there's that number again, and maybe, you're driving down the road and it's there in your car or on a license plate. So those are repeating number patterns. I see them all the time, especially fours, 44, 44, all the combinations of fours. But look up those angel numbers and see what those mean for you. A lot of times once you learn that lesson or learn what it is that's going on, it's then unlocks something and you move on to a different number. So it's very interesting the way the universe speaks to us. All right, I will quit babbling about it, but do pay attention to the synchronicities this week. All right, Virgo, February 22nd through the 28th. The end of a tough cycle approaches. Let's see what you guys have going on. Your overall present energy, Virgo, 5 of Cups. This was also in Leo's reading. So you might be going through something where it is the end of a tough cycle, and this could be the end of a grief cycle or sadness or something that you've just been through that's just kind of taken it out of you. But here we are, we're at the end of it, and when it comes to something like grief, there is really never an ending to grief. It's always kind of there. The hard parts you get through, but the grief is also the sadness and it's letting go, but it's something that's there with you forever. You might feel it on a day, especially if we're talking about, loss, of someone very close to you. We do feel it around certain times. You get a little, you think about that person and you want them to be there. And of course, we miss them and go through that. So remember that, even though you get through grief, on the really hard parts of it, it's always kind of under the surface there. Never really goes away, especially again when it comes to loss, something like that. Your current situation here is the Two of Pentacles. So here you are at the end of this tough cycle, and maybe you're looking up and you're like, ugh, okay, back to back to real life, where I have to juggle things, and I have to juggle work, and I have to juggle home, and I have to do all these materially things, and it is kind of a grind. If you need help, reach out to ask for someone. There's friends around you, I'm sure, family members. If you need help, and if things have been just rough for you, just get that help. It could just, you might just need a friend there to just maybe help you clean your house. Maybe it just got too much and for a little bit, but now you're at the end of this tough cycle. If you need to reach out for help, make sure you certainly do that. At the root of your situation is the Page of Cups. So it looks like you're also regaining your sense of humor again. At the end of this tough cycle, I'm feeling it, but we do laugh again, right? Even when we go through something that's really, really hard, all of a sudden there's just something there and you can't help but just laugh at it. And that's the joy of life. So make sure that you are looking around for those laughs. If you need to put on a stand-up comic that makes you laugh while you're cleaning your house, because laughter is the way that we all get through things. So just allow yourself to laugh while you're just dealing with your normal juggling of life. In your recent past here is the Justice card, so some sort of truth. And I just again, that could be loss also. This it is what it is. The truth of it is we lose people, and that's just what happens. And I'm kind of feeling that there's somebody out there that this is really going to resonate with. But you're at the end of this, again, even though you're approaching the end of this tough cycle, again, it's always just going to be under the surface just a little bit, and it gets lighter with time. It gets better and better. What is on your mind this week? Another two. And again, coming together with a friend or a family member. Also, talking about synchronicities, there's the number 22. So do look that up and see if that has any bearing on your situation this week. But do reach out for a friend and you're thinking about it. It's on your mind. So, friend, family member, someone that you know that you can trust to say, hey, I just need a little help right now. Need a little help digging out of whatever it is. And I'm sure they're going to come to your rescue. So, make sure that you open your mouth and ask that person. What is just ahead of you this week is here you are back to work, not only juggling those pentacles, but just back to work, right? With this Eight of Pentacles. So sometimes, I like to say that this guy, even though he's working on something, he's very in the moment. This is one of those cards of like losing the world around you because you're so focused on that thing that you're working on or doing. And that's a good place to be because it lets some of that stuff kind of fall to the wayside. You can focus on something that you love to do or something that you enjoy to do or something really that you have to do where it just takes all of your mind power to do it. But go ahead and do those things and get that focus, because then all of a sudden you look up and you think, oh, well, there went an hour where I didn't think about this sadness or this grief that I've been going through. So, and those hours become days, and those days become weeks. So definitely back to work or back to focusing on something that you really do love to do. In your advice position, Virgo, is let's kind of deal with these sleepless nights. What is it that is, this anxiety that's keeping you up at night and keeping you sad? Again, try to find a way so that when you go to bed at night, you're just in a better place. So this means watching, maybe television or something that makes you laugh. If you have to go back and re-binge Seinfeld or something, whatever, find that TV show that just something that's one that I would go to because it makes me laugh so hard. But I'm sure there's something out there, either a TV show that you can binge watch or a comedian or just something that's light and makes you laugh. But find that thing and maybe even enter into that activity again before you go to sleep, so that it's just kind of a distraction for your mind so that you can let some of that stress out through laughter and also relax yourself a little bit so that you're not having those sleepless nights. What is beyond your control this week is look how strong you are. This was also in the Leo reading. So yeah, you might have a Leo that you're working with here, someone that's close to you. It could be this friend, could be a partner or somebody. Um, because there's just a few things in common with their reading. But anyway, you are strong enough, and it's beyond your control that you're strong enough. So make sure that you remember that, keep that in mind, especially again as you're buckling down. You're going to get through this. You are strong enough, and it's all going to be fine eventually. What is your secret desire? What are you trying to avoid? Well, I'm sure it's your secret desire here to get back to the 10 of Cups, back to a place where everything just seems happy and light. Again, it takes time, but it looks like you're working on it. So you're going to get there. You're going to get there. In your outcome position is thinking about the future here, but look at these emotions. The water in tarot represents emotion, very calm water. I'm not seeing a lot of this juggling. If you look at the difference in the water here between this guy, that's kind of crazy, that water going there. Look at this wide, beautiful, calm water in the future so you're heading towards this calm future, and that's a great place to be headed towards. What is hidden from you this week at the bottom of the deck is the King of Pentacles. So again, while you're back to work and juggling things, you're not really in a place where you're like super in control of that or really worried about the knowledge of that. It's almost like you're just trying to get through step by step. And I understand that. And don't worry about that. It's fine. That's fine that that's hidden this week. We're just trying to put one foot in front of the other and get through the week there, Virgo. All right, let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message here for Virgo. And that card for you this week, Virgo, is raise your vibration. So try to do that. And again, if you can do that through laughter or whatever it is, I mean, I'm sure we all have our own little tricks and whatever. For me, it does tend to be laughter, just laughter and relaxing and good rest. But if you're having trouble resting, of course, just whatever it does to relax you at night. If you need to take that bubble bath, whatever it is that just makes you like, oh, it's time to sleep. Maybe go buy a new set of sheets, something that just like makes you sleep better so that you can get some rest. Let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care. Self-care for Virgo this week, besides buying new sheets and laughing a lot and taking a bubble bath and laughing with your friend and getting a little help, all of these things that might help you. All right, Virgo, self-care, February 22nd through the 28th. And the card that you get here is rituals. Steady yourself with simple rituals. Do the dishes, fold the laundry, water the plants. In my case, feed the cat. You hear my cat outside the door. Fold the laundry, water the plants, make a cup of tea, let wisdom sneak up on you. So yeah, that's the best card here. And it's just what you're doing. Look, you're juggling things. You're just kind of back to work, back to what you're doing, back to your routine. But find find the pleasures in those little simple rituals that we all have to do. Sometimes it just feels better to have your place be just clean and organized. And that comes with doing the dishes, folding laundry, all of those things that feel like work, but they are ritualistic. We all have to do them, right? What do they say? Before enlightenment, chop water, carry wood. After enlightenment, chop water, carry wood. We all have to do those things. So anyway, Virgo, thank you so much for being here. I know it looks like it is the end of a tough cycle. It looks like a grief cycle for some of you. So let me know in the comments if you're comfortable sharing what it is that you guys are going through. Are you trying to do those little ritualistic things every day? Do you have a friend that you can call on to get a little bit of help right now? Because look, it's your secret desire to get back to just being happy, and you will. You're going to move towards the future doing that. So thank you so much for being here. I wish you the best of luck and internet hugs to you if you are going through that out there. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe will help you find me next week, where you can come back and we can see how you're doing, see what kind of energy pops up for you next time. So thanks so much, Virgo. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.